couple years ago, we had a huge wind event, which is not uncommon in Illinois during the spring season. And without new vegetative growth in the field, we had a dust storm. And the farm that I was working on had a very tall cover crop, 4 foot tall. And I remember the family that lived there, young family, was gone that day. And I had a text message that night where the young mom said, I was so fearful of, returning home and having dust in the house, came through the cracks. But she said, I came home to, a house that was still clean because the dust was not blowing on our farm. The residue not only kept it in place, but probably trapped some of the neighboring farms, soil from blowing around. Yeah, it's a good feeling to know that somebody who didn't buy a product from me appreciated how I was farming and the farming practices that we've done as a family through the years.
You see so many field days that are prefaced like Cover Crops 101 or conservation practices for the farm. If you're not already interested in that, it's not a big draw. Everyone has issues with wet springs and hot summers, and some conservation practices like cover crops can really help with that. Framing it in that sense of fixing a problem that's on the farm really appeals to a lot more people.
I remember the first time, and it's happened several, where I had newly emerged soybeans growing in a cover crop that had been terminated, but the cover crop was 3-4 foot tall, and you have a storm come through. Hail fell on a farm where soybeans were emerged, and where the soybeans were left unprotected by the cover crop, there was damage to where claims adjusters came out. But if you looked at the soybeans where the cover crop residue was still standing, it protected them. Never planned on that, had not heard that point talked about, but you find these related benefits that you don't plan on, then you just kind of sit back and go, cool. Hadn't planned on it, but it's there, and it's transferable to anybody else who uses a cover crop, that it's just a built-in benefit.
Jeff's been excellent to work with. He's got trustworthiness and credibility in the area, and people know who he is. So, they're willing to listen to him because he's actually done it.
It's not so much what I have found the message you're sharing, it's as much how you share it. And if it can be broken down into something a little more clear or concise and relatable.
So we came up with this idea of tailgate talks. Smaller, informal settings, a couple hours, go over a few aspects of cover crops, the problems that they can fix, and have a local farmer, our farmer champion there to kind of talk about it with us all. And just have more of a discussion rather than a talk at you for a couple hours kind of idea. So, and they've gone really well so far. At the end of them, we're asking the participants, what do they want to hear about? What do they want to learn about? What's important to them? So we're using that and taking that information to the next event, because that's where the need is.
I think the best thing we can do is ask. Ask, what is your why? Why do you want to do this? What would you like to improve upon? And how do you think you want to go about doing that? We all have our own personal stories, and our equipment may have different colors, our ground may be different, but our experiences and our families that are involved with it are the same, and it's to connect on that level. It's adding a layer of humanity to it that says we're not so different, and listening.